Keukenhof in Lisse, Netherlands. Keukenhof, also known as the Garden of Europe, is one of the world's largest flower gardens, situated in the town of Lisse, in the Netherlands. According to the official website, Keukenhof Park covers an area of 32 hectares and approximately 7 million flower bulbs are planted in the gardens annually. Keukenhof is widely known for its tulips. It also features numerous other flowers, including hyacinths, daffodils, lilies, roses, carnations, and irises. Each year thousands of people ask themselves the same question: when is the best time to visit Keukenhof Gardens in the Netherlands? The reason for this is that the best time to visit Keukenhof Park changes every year and depends almost entirely on Mother Nature. If it's been a warm winter and the spring weather is immediately nice, the flowers will bloom faster than after a long and cold winter. On top of that, you have to accept that you'll never see all the flowers blooming at once, as there are so many different varieties. First, the crocuses bloom, then the narcissus, and then the tulips and the hyacinths. The Keukenhof Gardens are only open to the public a few weeks a year. In 2019, the opening dates are from March 21st until May 19th. During that period, the gardens are open every day of the week, each time from 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. I visited the Keukenhof Park on a day trip from Amsterdam a few years ago and I got to see them from the sky. Well, kind of, as not everything went as planned, but I'll tell you all about that later in this post. Keukenhof Gardens, a little bit of history. The history of the Keukenhof Gardens goes back to the 15th century, when there was a fruit and vegetable garden at the spot supplying the kitchen of Castle Tillingen. 2 centuries later, that castle had been replaced by the Keukenhof Castle and its domain enlarged up to 200 hectares. In the 19th century, landscape architect Jan David Zacher and his son Louis Paul Zacher redesigned the garden to what would become the foundation of the Keukenhof Gardens as we know them. The Zachers would later also design the famous Vondelpark in Amsterdam. The first spring flower exhibition took place there in 1950 and had no less than 236,000 visitors. Every year now, about 100 flower growers exhibit their bulbs and flowers in beautiful garden designs and flower shows. In total, about 7 million flowers color the grounds of the Keukenhof. Visiting Keukenhof Gardens in Lisse. Keukenhof is located in Lisse in the Netherlands, about a 30-minute drive from Amsterdam. It's a 32-hectare park to the biggest flower gardens in the world, to where gardeners plant around 7 million bulbs of 800 tulip varieties and other flowers each year. The planting takes around 3 months, which is longer than the time the park is open, and all the bulbs are delivered for free by Dutch bulb farmers. Keukenhof looks different every year, and some of the flower designs in the park clearly depend on the theme of the year. In 2018, the theme is Romance in Flowers. The gardens get around 800,000 visitors from 100 different countries every year, so you can imagine I was a bit worried that it would be too crowded at Keukenhof to really enjoy the flowers. I think I somehow got lucky, as it was awful weather the start of the day I went. When we arrived by bus from Amsterdam, it was even raining. Luckily, there are also 3 indoor flower shows at Keukenhof and 1 indoor exhibition. Hoping that the rain would later pass, that's where I headed first. At the Oranje Nassau Pavilion, there is a different flower show every week. When I was visiting, the roses were on. I saw roses in all kinds of colors and shades, but as I'm someone who always has a hard time choosing, I liked these the best. At this pavilion, you can also catch one of the daily flower arranging demonstrations. The Willem Alexander Pavilion is located in the center of the Keukenhof Gardens and is the biggest of the 4 pavilions. You can easily spend half an hour or more here, taking close UPS of all the different flowers exhibited. At the Willem Alexander Pavilion, there are pot plants, amaryllis, perennials, lilies, and thousands of tulips. The last pavilion with a flower show is the Beatrix Pavilion. Are you noticing a theme here? That's right, all pavilions carry the name of a member of the Dutch royal family. I thought the Beatrix flower show was the fanciest, with lots of decorative materials and beautiful orchids. No flower show at the last pavilion, the Juliana building, but an exhibition about the history of tulips in the Netherlands, called Tolpamania. I visited Tolpamania at the end of the day, though, because when I left the Beatrix Pavilion, the sun had finally come out and it had stopped raining. I was so happy because I'd really thought that I'd be going home with only photos of inside flowers and soaked flowers. I picked up the pace and tried to follow as many of the little paths that crisscross through the Keukenhof Gardens as I could. After a photo or two, I slowed down again, though. Keukenhof doesn't let you rush things. It's designed in such a way that you automatically become zen. In total, there are 8 inspirational gardens at Keukenhof and 1 historical garden, with tulip varieties that go back to the 17th and the 18th century. The only thing I found a bit of a shame is that these different gardens aren't marked on the Keukenhof map, and so you can walk through them without really knowing what garden you're in. Then again, does that really matter when you're walking in the sun, surrounded by flowers and smelling spring? No, I didn't think so either. A few tips. If you want to visit the Keukenhof Gardens without them being too crowded, try coming on a weekday and as early as possible. Especially if you're coming by car, it's best to come early to make sure you find a spot in the parking lot. Try visiting when it's sunny. I got lucky that the skies cleared when I was there, because the colorful lawns do look a lot better in the sunlight. Avoid days that have special events going on, unless you want to attend them, obviously. These days tend to be busier. Be patient. Everyone's trying to take nice Keukenhof photos and people will get in your frame. Be respectful. Don't walk on the lawns just to get a better shot. Like us and join us at Extreme Collections for more fun and knowledge.